We're on to the Triumph Hurdle, the first big race of the Friday, the final day of the festival. My thoughts, for what it's worth, is I want to take this Xana here on again because I missed the prices probably more than anything, but I feel like there could have been a bit of value in there. I threw a couple of darts a long way out. I backed Montmirail just because of the hype of him being purchased from France, and then he's probably brought it up now, but meh. I had a little bit on Hell Red as well at the start. That's obviously gone to pot as well. And then I've backed Nasalam at reasonable prices just because of the fact that there'll be the Gary Moore link, etc., etc. But as it stands, I feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I might have seen the Triumph winner. I know this Xana has been like semi-impressive in his races. Well, I'd class him as semi-impressive. For the juveniles, there's often horses that will come between now and March that will come out. Willie Mullins will unleash something. There'll be things at the Adonis at Kempton, which might not be the best form bit, but I just feel like there might be something coming out. Dublin Racing Festival, wherever it is, the Spring Juvenile. I feel like there might be something yet to come. So, as I stand at the moment, I've got a couple of anti-post bets, but I wouldn't be suggesting anyone follows any of those in. So, on to more pressing issues, because two of you have backed something at a reasonable price in here, so you two can wait. Daryl, Triumph, anything you like so far?
Oh, I don't know, Dave.
You're the same as me then. We'll leave it till we see something come out in the spring.
I'll tell you what, though. And let me just say, you've had an absolute shocker. Right? I'll said it before in one of your videos. This Nasalam is nowhere near a Grade 1 horse. Honestly, you backed him. Do you know what? Just on a whim, I would back this Quilixios stablemate of Xana at 12 to 1. I really would, because I thought he looked quite decent. I think at the moment this looks really poor, really, really poor. And I am a little bit pissed off that Matt and Jamie are on Xana at bigger prices, because I think this looks a really, really poor race at the moment. Normally, I wait until after the Adonis, so I'm still going to be waiting around. But at the moment, if I had to push yeah, if I had to pick one, it'd be Quilixios.
And that's the thing with it. I feel like with this, it's easy to get carried away with horses. It happened last year, didn't it? With like the Respire Towers, with All Mankind's Goshen, which, to be fair to him, he would have gone and won it. But historically, if you go a little bit further back, you do see horses coming out now on progressive. We might not have seen the winner just yet. And the other thing where I know I whinge about it lots about missing prices, sometimes you can say at the moment now, it's still a value price. When you hear what Showboaty Jamie and Showboaty Matt the prices they've got, because they're going to have to confess it, you'll see why I'm reluctant to now back the horse at the price as it is. Sometimes when you're taking punting, especially anti-post punting, there's a time and a place to get involved. I think if you're on Xana here at bigger prices like these two, then fair play to you. If you're not on, I mean, it probably sounds like it's bad advice, doesn't it? But like, I don't think he's worthy of being a 3-to-1 fab on what he's done. But anywho, Matt, you got the biggest price. What price did you back him at, Matt?
I backed him at 50 to 1, but I don't feel like I should take too much credit for that, David. I mean, it was a bit punty. Yeah. I got on to Xana here and Quilixios by someone else, and with cash out, it's worth the risk for me. So yeah. I've got lucky with both of them to a certain extent, but you can't knock what Xana here has done so far. And like Dave says, it doesn't look that strong in behind. Daryl said it's not that strong in behind. He's won an end-to-end gallop. He's won when they've gone slow. And it's difficult to knock him, but 3-to-1 now is probably short enough. And of the two, if it was starting from there, I'd probably do the same as Darren and back Quilixios at 12 to 1.
So Jamie, you didn't quite get as good a price, but I mean, like Matt is like starting to sell him to me, which is annoying because I'm just trying to not listen to it. Talking about how his performances and all that sort of stuff, and he is ticking all the right boxes, isn't he? How impressed have you been with him, Jamie? You're quite good with the Irish juveniles. Do you think he is well up there, or are you just saying that because you've got a good price?
Well, I didn't get the 50s, but I got 33s after Battle Row. I echo what Matt says. They went slow the last day in the Grade 2 to try to get him beaten, right? And he still quickened up like what were they thinking? He's X off the flat. So if you go X off the flat, you're going to have speed from the flat. And all of a sudden, they tried to get him beaten going slow. And he impressed me more because of his adaptability that he's going to win the Triumph Hurdle. Because they went like Saint Sam and with drew its altars and went fast in Ferry House, tried to get him beat, and he went away like a better horse than he was. I can't say anything beating him. Now, I agree with Matt as well and Darryl that the only danger is in the same stable with Quixilius. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think he's better than him at all. Because Gordon, if you read back on his stable tour, he said Quixilius, for the start of the season. And all of a sudden, then Zanya here, then for the rest of the season. So, yeah, Zanya here is going to win, Dave. And we're happy out with our 33s and 50s to win.
Oh, no, it's shameful, isn't it? What about French Azil? Because that one, a maiden hurdle.
That was impressive. It was impressive. Yeah, it was impressive.
I think it would have been missed by plenty just within the action. Like people probably wouldn't have looked at the race, but it's like well found in the market now. I don't know. Like it's something like that. It's a maiden hurdle, isn't it? It's won by a wide margin. I know Darryl's the first person to say that you should be questioning why, like how good the form is, all that sort of stuff when they win by such a wide margin.
Look. Before you finish off there, I don't understand. And look, everyone gets roped in. I was the same, getting roped into it's the spring game. Right, the spring game for the juveniles. Well, history and stats probably say it is, right? But the fact of the matter is, if you go back to the horse that you mentioned earlier, Deafy Decide, when did he start?
Yeah, it was October, wasn't he, probably?
In fast last. So, do you know what I mean? It can be done.
Yeah.
And so it will. And this horse, he looks a monster. Look at the size of him for a 3 to 4 year old. Do you know what I mean? He's massive. So there's massive improvement coming to him. So I think he'll win. Gareth's getting sick inside in his toilet now.
So I feel like it's a mixed vibe from the team. Just that I think Jamie and Matt think he'll win, which is fair enough. Obviously has got favourite chance. He's the best we've seen so far. I'm just still clinging on to we might see something else, but I'm clinging on to something that might not happen. I think it's fair to say of the other horses that we have seen out, as in all the other juveniles, that Zania here definitely is the best that we've seen so far. So something's got to come out and be better to change anything. Happy to wrap up the triumph there?
Yeah, I'll just quickly, I think this Goodbye Stranger's worth a mention. I just like the way he quickened up the last day. He beat absolutely nothing. Right, he's a Nicky Henderson horse, juvenile. He beat absolutely nothing, but just the way he was held up at the back of the field. He had it all to do, really, and he just really quickened up quite smartly in the closing stages. And I thought what he did in the last 100, 150 yards was pretty decent. And I thought there was tons more to come from him. Look, it was a Newbury race, which is normally a decent track to find juveniles at. Likes of Fraser Island, Our Power, easily won 35 horses, had won that the year before. The Style de Garde as well for Nicky Henderson won that previously in 2017. That horse was well fancied at the time for a juvenile hurdle. I just thought the way he did it at the closing stages meant that he probably was a little bit useful. He's probably better than he only got a race by rating of 114. He's got a ton to fight with the likes of Stanley here, but I just thought he could have a little bit more to come. He's in the double green. I just thought he was worth a mention. He's a massive 25 to 1 shot. But this race, really, for me, at the moment, is a little bit up in the air. Zanier clearly sets the standard. But I just thought it was worth a mention, one at a massive price. That could just improve from one run to another. These juveniles do improve quite significantly from one run to another. So I just thought it was worth throwing one in there, especially given Monmouth is 12 to 1, which is an absolute joke.
But yeah, Goodbye Stranger's worth mentioning, definitely, because he put me off on debut because I say this lots about horses, but Hood first time up, like if you're going to the racecourse the very first time in a Hood, they must be showing you something at home that it's an absolute loon. He took that loony on the course, to be fair. Like he looked like he needed the Hood on probably, but he didn't look like he was unbearable. We've backed horses before that have been Hoods or all that sort of stuff, and they look like they're in desperate need of it. So definitely could step forward on that. And like you say, he's in the right colours. Muno and Suede like running horses in the Triumph as well. So he's the sort of horse, and he like maybe Pentland Hills-esque could go and dot up in a novelty race somewhere else and then end up in a Triumph, couldn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's just worth a mention at a big price. I mean, away from the top of the market, everyone knows about Zanier. Unfortunately, we're not in a position that the lads are in, that they've got big prices about a horse that is down 5 to 2. They obviously should be very proud of themselves. But it's just worth a mention at a massive 25 to 1. And hopefully we can just nab them on the line and put a little bit of misery into their lives.
Absolutely. So this isn't even after timing, is it? This is before timing showing off the prices. But most people out there that do the anti-post punting know that if you throw enough shit, some will stick, and that's why the price looks good now, doesn't it? But I have to see the festival. So on that bombshell, I'm going to end this video and we'll move on to the next round.